Hi, I'm Matthew Lapp, host of Matthew Lapp Train Guy. Also today I'm at Steamtown National Historic Site in Scranton, Pennsylvania. Steamtown National Historic Site is located on 350 Cliff Street in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and is open if you check the web for the hours. The organization was originally established in 1964 by a wealthy New England seafood industrialist named Francis Nelson Blount, F. Nelson Blount for short, and was originally named Steamtown, USA. Over the years, F. Nelson Blount collected historic railroad equipment for Steamtown. He also bought Edaville Corp. In Massachusetts in 1955. In 1960, he purchased a Boston and Maine rail yard in North Walpole, New Hampshire, and moved all of his equipment there. The railroad at Steamtown, USA was known as the Steamtown, Monadnock and Northern Railroad, and in 1961 the railroad operated its first excursion run until facing operation hurdles, leading to later runs on the Boston and Maine's Cheshire branch. Starting in 1962 till 1963, in 1963, he bought Rutland trackage rights between North Walpole, New Hampshire and Westmoreland, New Hampshire, after the Rutland shut down. The next year, Steamtown was moved from North Walpole, New Hampshire to Bellow Falls, Vermont. This latest location was at the former site of a proposed Rutland yard in Riverside, just north of North Walpole, New Hampshire and Bellow Falls, Vermont. Tracks fanning out from a turntable provided an excellent place to display his collection of steam locomotives. Over the years, excursion trains were run out of 4 different locations such as Sunapee, Keene, and North Walpole, New Hampshire, and Bellow Falls, Vermont. In 1967, it was a sad year for him. He died and was killed in a private plane crash in New Hampshire. Steamtown fell into hard times without personal funds, but then, 17 years later, the foundation brought the collection to Scranton, Pennsylvania, but it failed to attract enough visitors to make it a going concern, and within 2 years faced a bankruptcy. Then the House of Representatives were urged by the state's representative and Scranton native Joseph M. McDade and approved an $8 million study of the collection, and in 1986 the federal government stepped in and made the Steamtown Foundation a National Historic Site. Then by the year 1995, Steamtown was then developed by the National Park Service at a cost of $66 million. Steamtown was then soon taken over by the National Park Services and was renamed Steamtown National Historic Site. The collection was soon brought to a former Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western yard and had a roundhouse in the yard restored and working as a restoration shop and museum as well. Whenever you're at the site, you must remember that Steamtown National Historic Site is a working railroad site, and you are advised to be very careful around the property. Especially watch out for moving trains at all times. Also, just east of the grounds is trackage used by the Delaware-Lackawanna Railroad, which is owned by Genesee Valley Transportation. The railroad line is the former Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad, which was built in the early 1850s. Then, in 1960, Erie Railroad and Delaware, Lackawanna, and Western Railroad merged to form the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad. In 1976, the Conrail bought the Erie-Lackawanna Railroad. Then, in 1993, the Delaware-Lackawanna Railroad was born, and it stretches for 88 miles of trackage in these counties: Lackawanna, Wayne, Northampton, and Monroe. Inside the roundhouse at Steamtown, there are exhibits on what teaches people like yourselves history of steam trains and how steam locomotives work as well. Also, there are even train excursions that operates to places such as Goldsboro, Jessup, Tobyhanna, Oliphant, Moscow, Carbondale, Cresco, East Stroudsburg, Delaware Water Gap, and Archibald. Short rides on site only lasts up to 30 minutes, and the train would just go as far as the bridge near the University of Scranton as well. Also, nearby the site is the trolley museum called the Electric City Trolley Museum, and it shares some of the right of way as well.